Hi guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be looking at another problem, but instead of the AMC8 like we are used to, this one is actually from the last year's Mathcounts test. And so let's get a quick read of the problem. In the figure shown, the cogwheel labeled A makes one revolution every 2 seconds. Right, so just while reading this, let's just write this down real quick. So A makes one revolution every 2 seconds. Okay. And now they're saying how many revolutions does cogwheel B make per minute? So notice the first thing is this change in units. We go from 2 seconds to minutes. And that's such an easy way to get a question wrong. And so we really want to make sure we're reading units correctly. So B is how many revolutions per minute. And let's capitalize that so we don't forget. Okay, so with a question like this, so this requires some knowledge with how cogwheels, or also called gears, work. And it's just very basic knowledge. But basically, if we just think about it fundamentally, looking at cogwheel A, this big one on the left, and then the middle small one. So A, if we count, has how many pegs? Or like little, basically notches. So there's 1 here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So A has 10 pegs. And then this middle one that doesn't have a letter has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it has 5 pegs up here. So if we kind of think about this logically, if you have two gears, one twice as big as the other, when the big one makes one revolution, the smaller one is going to make 2 revolutions before they return back to their starting points, right? Because there's 10 pegs on A, so that means 1 revolution on A, that means 2 of them will pass on B, because you have to go through your 5 pegs twice, right? So that's kind of the fundamental idea behind this question. So using that, let's start with converting everything to minutes, right? Our answer has to be in minutes. So let's convert A, the 1 revolution every 2 seconds, to minutes. So 1 revolution every 2 seconds. This is equal to how many revolutions in 1 minute? And 1 minute is just 60 seconds. So we have 30 times as much time. So that means that would be 30 revolutions per minute. And you could also write this as 30 RPM, revolutions per minute. So now, if we have 30 revolutions per minute, then that means on the smaller gear, on the smaller cogwheel in the middle, we already found for every 1 revolution, there's 2 on the small one. So 30 revolutions in a minute means the smaller one will have 30 times 2, which is equal to 60 revolutions per minute. So right here, this has 60 revs per minute. Oh, that's hard to see, but yeah, 60 revolutions per minute. And now we look at B. So B, if we count, has how many notches? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So I know it's kind of messy, but if you count that, you'll see there's 6 pegs on cogwheel B. So now we use the same idea where so we have 5 pegs on the middle one, and then 6 pegs on B. So this means that for every 6 revolutions on the middle one, that's a result of 5 pegs, or 5 revolutions on cogwheel B, right? And you can check this because if you just multiply these, we should get an equal number, because at the end, every peg that passes on the middle one has to correspond to a peg on B, which means at the end of our time, the same number of pegs must rotate through our starting point, right? So 5 times 6 is 30 in both cases. So you know that 5 pegs means 6 revolutions when 6 pegs is 5 revolutions, right? You basically have that inverse relationship, right? We know a smaller cogwheel has more revolutions than a bigger one. So now this means we know that our middle cogwheel had 5 pegs, and we already found that 60 RPM. So if it did 60 revolutions per minute, then we have to find how many revolutions per minute did cogwheel B do. And we see 6 times 10 is 60. So we would just do 5 times 10 to get 50. 50 revolutions per minute on cogwheel B. And thus we go back here, make sure we're answering the question. So let's just kind of get rid of some of this so we can read the question. How many revolutions will cogwheel B make every minute? We found that to be 50. And so we would write that down and be done. And that should be all for this question. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. Otherwise, be sure to like or subscribe so you don't miss out on any future uploads. And we will be back again tomorrow with another problem. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again tomorrow.